Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're hailing from. Welcome to Live Tuesdays training. Today, we're actually going to be learning how to express ourselves, how to express our feelings and needs without turning the conversation into an all-out battle with our significant other, right? Because I know that if you're like me, that you've started a sentence with like, "You always are late," or "You never help with chores," you know And with saying that, you've probably watched your partner's defenses go up just do 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 do. So today we're actually going to learn how to express ourselves without blaming our partner. Because these types of conversations, when we have those "you always" or "you never," those "you" statements are blame statements. And when we have these conversations, it's not about avoiding the fight because we're in relationships. We're two people trying to coexist in the same space. We're going to have disagreements and arguments and fights. So it's not about avoiding the fight. It's about creating a conversation where you feel heard. You feel like you can trust your partner. You feel a bit more emotionally connected. So, how does that sound to everybody? If that sounds good, go ahead and put it in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the comments for me. So, just to overview, today we are going to cover why expressing our feelings without blame is so essential to having better communication, a better connection with your partner, but also just building trust and just having that overall fulfillment in your relationship. B, we're going to go over how to use "I feel" statements and to actually say what you mean without starting World War III. And C, we're going to do a simple step by step exercise just to practice the skills we're going to be talking about today. So, first, we're going to talk about the problem with blame. So, using those "you" statements, those blame statements, when we're upset, it's easy to just point the finger. Do, do, do. You never listen. You don't care about my feelings. You're always late. And with these statements, when we make them, like in the moment, it feels good. It feels satisfying because we're releasing that energy, that negative energy. We're releasing that frustration. But doing that almost always leads to your partner becoming defensive, right? It's because in your partner's mind, you're saying, "You're always late. You don't care about my feelings." And all they're thinking about is the "always" or the "never" portion of that statement because they're thinking, "Oh, you're saying I never show up for you in this way. But on the times that I have, it's like you don't even recall because you're saying never." So it makes them feel like, "Hey, well, why would I show up going forward in these instances at all if you can't remember the times where I actually have shown up for you in this way? Although it be rare, but I've still shown up." So that your partner, when you say, "I don't care," or "You don't care about my feelings," or "You're always late," or "You never help with chores," they're going to get stuck on the never, the always. And they're going to get defensive. They're going to be calculated in their mind the times where they did show up. So when you start making these statements, once that defensiveness enters the conversation, communication leaves because then you just start arguing about why your partner feels defensive or why they feel blamed. You start bringing other situations into the conversation and nobody is actually listening to how you feel. You've gotten off track. Now you're just arguing and complaining. So, and that blaming puts your partner in this position to just want to defend themselves instead of listening to what it is that you have to say. It literally is shifting the focus from your emotions to their actions. And that's where the progress is going to stop. So if you feel like you can relate to this, where you've had an all out brawl, you started, you know, sharing your feelings, but then you blamed your partner and the whole conversation just went awry. And there was no solution in sight, and then you both walked away mad. Like if you can relate to that, go ahead and put it in the comments. So, how do we fix it? We're just simply going to flip the script. So, instead of focusing on what your partner's doing wrong, we're going to focus on how you're feeling and what you need without blaming your partner for that. And that's where I feel statements come in. Like, oh, I love I feel statements because it's like a magic little sprinkling on your relationship in your conversation because it allows you to be able to express yourself so clear without putting your partner on the defensive. It's almost like a prerequisite for the conversation to help your partner not get defensive. Because I'm sure when you walk into that conversation, that's not your intention, right? And this works because you help keep the conversation, the I feel statements help keep the conversation centered around the emotion and not accusations. Because you remember those you statements we were talking about, you always, you never. That is a blame accusatory statement. So when we use I feel statements, that is us taking accountability for how we feel and what we need in the situation instead of blaming our partner for how we feel and our needs not being met. Does that make sense? So I'm going to actually go ahead and break this down for you guys. So if you haven't gotten a pen and paper yet, go ahead and take this as an opportunity to do so because I'm going to break down I feel statements for you. And once you start using this in your relationship, you're going to see the transformation of how this is going to get your needs met. You're going to feel the transformation emotionally and how you will begin to connect better with your partner and how your partner will start to begin to better understand how you feel, why you feel that way, what the impact was on you emotionally, and how you can come to a conclusion or a solution. So, everybody should be ready. All right. So, it's 4 steps. First step is you are going to say, right on the first line, I feel, and then draw a blank. So, under that blank, you're going to put the emotion. So, think of a situation that you and your partner have had that caused you frustration, or it's a recurring situation that you've been having with your partner. So, that first step is to acknowledge how you feel. What's going on in your body? Am I angry? Am I frustrated? Do I feel like I'm unappreciated? Unappreciated? Do I feel unloved? Do I feel unheard? I feel, and put that emotion in the blank when you think of that recent situation. 2, when, right? Go ahead and write when next to the number 2. So you're going to put, I feel whatever that emotion is, when, and then you're going to insert on the blank after that the specific situation or the specific behavior that had you feeling that specific emotion. 3, you're going to put on that line because I feel this way when specific situation or behavior, because, and then after that, put a line, because in that blank, you're also going to put the reason you feel this way when that situation occurred, or the impact it had on you when that behavior happened. And 4, you're going to put on that line, and I need. So this is one of, all of these steps are important, but that number 4 step, the and I need, that's what's going to help you. That's like the biggest deal. The biggest thing in this framework is going to help you actually find a solution, because that's what we're looking for. You're coming to your partner to share this because you're looking for a solution. How can you move forward? What is that specific need that you have that'll help resolve this situation, that'll help resolve and remedy how you're feeling? So next to and I need, put in the blank space, what is that specific need or solution that needs to happen in order for, you two to resolve what's happening here, to be able to resolve that situation or rectify that behavior. So it would sound something like, So let's start from the beginning. We talked about those blame statements, right? Those you statements. Those. Uh, so if it, a state, it, for example, it could sound like your blame statement could sound like you never pay attention to me, right? But then when you add the I feel framework, let me break it down. So we have number one, I feel lonely. And then we have number two, when you're on your phone during dinner time. Then number three, because it feels like I'm not important. And then number four, I need us to have a device free dinner. So if this is all making sense for you, just put it in the chat. If it's not, let me know. And then, I'll go over it a little bit more in depth. But think about that. Think about your blame statement and then reframe that to an I feel statement. So here's another example. Your blame statement might be, you don't care about my opinion. And here's how your I feel statement might sound. I feel frustrated when my ideas aren't acknowledged during our conversations because I want to feel valued and I need us to work on hearing each other out. Do you feel how different those statements come across versus your blame statement? You don't care about my opinion. Your partner gets defensive. Versus I feel statement, I feel frustrated when my ideas aren't acknowledged during our conversations because I want to feel valued and I need us to work on hearing each other out. Like you feel the difference on how that is communicating your needs, communicating your want, communicating a solution, and the why behind how you feel that way. Just in that one little statement. And this works. So I know it works. It works because you're focusing on your feelings and not your significant other's flaws. So it also works because it's providing context for your partner so they can understand you. They can understand why you feel that way. They can understand what behavior, what situation prompted you to feel this way. They can understand you as a person and as their partner over the course of time with simply using these statements. And it offers a solution, like we said, not just complaining about something not getting done or complaining about what your partner said. You're offering a solution to the issue. And that begins a conversation with you and your partner on how to constructively conflict resolve in your own relationship. Like that's gold. We're going to have conflict. Conflict is going to exist. But the struggle is when it exists and we don't resolve it or know how to resolve it. This is a key factor in that. I know that's a whole nother training. However, now that we've gone through the framework of the I feel statement and we kind of feel how that's different, how that's going to come across to your partner different, and how it allows you to clearly express yourself, now we're going to practice. So, time to practice. So, I'm just going to guide you through an exercise. And this exercise is going to transform, those common blame-based statements into more effective I feel statements. So go ahead again, think about that recurring argument that you had, and you're going to create your own I feel statement. Think about that frustration, the most recent event that happened in your relationship. You know, maybe the dishes didn't get done. They said they were going to do something and they never did it. Maybe you're not getting enough attention, or maybe they're always late. Write that down and write out your blame based statement, how you would usually say it. So just be honest and get it all out on that sheet of paper. So once you write that out, reframe the formula. Reframe your blame based statement into that I feel formula. So, how do you feel in the moment that situation happened? What is the situation and the behavior that's causing that feeling? Why does it impact you? And what do you need from your partner to resolve it? So even if you're not the person, the partner that is going to be communicating the I feel statement, if you are the listener while your partner is expressing themselves, I encourage you to respond empathetically. Put yourself in their shoes, allow yourself to them experience how they're feeling and understand where they're coming from. That empathy, that statement might sound like, thank you for sharing, because it might have been hard for your significant other to share with you how they feel. Depending on how you guys do that in your past conversations, it might have been hard for them to try something new, to just get vulnerable a little bit. So thank them for sharing, and be authentic. It might sound like, thank you for sharing. I didn't realize that, me doing this made you feel that way. So, yeah, let's figure out a good solution so we don't have this situation repeat itself, or so we can be more mindful of our time, whatever the situation is. And I encourage you to just be empathetic while you're receiving your partner's I feel statement. So, just a couple of quick tips for the I feel statements. So, I know this is new and it might be a little clunky at first when you're trying it, but it's fine. Maybe practice some minor frustrations to build your confidence. Start with some little small uh, situations. I feel this way because, and when you do this, it has this impact on me. And I would like to, I need this from you. Start with small problems, but also stick to the facts. Don't exaggerate, because, like I mentioned before, when you start saying you never or you always, because think about it, in what situation can one person literally say that you've never done that or you always do this? There are always situations um, where your partner will show up for you, albeit on a rare occasion, but that's not always, and that's not never. And like we said, our partners get stuck on that. Oh, I always do that. No, I've done this for you before. And it makes them feel undervalued or like their efforts are being unacknowledged or ignored when you say always or never. So just stick to the facts. Say, more often than not, or just actually the best way to do it is just to be specific. Be specific with the situation. When this situation happens, I feel like this. But also be patient. I know this is going to feel awkward, but be patient with each other and be patient with yourself, because the more you do it, the more consistency you have, it's going to make it natural and it's just going to be flowing. It's just like if you're feeling a little bit stuck, just remember, like, focus on your feelings and your needs, not on the actions and blame. Sing a little song. Feelings and needs, instead of actions and blame. Feelings and needs instead of actions and blame. Okay, we're done. So, just if you didn't get the time to just real time during this training to do the exercise, do it when you have that time later today or tomorrow, as soon as you can. And think about that one area that you can use the I feel statements in your relationship. Think about that recurring conflict that you would love to reframe from blame to accountability. Brainstorm that together with your partner. This is a good opportunity not only to work on yourself, but to bring your partner into this if this is something that you want to work on in your relationship. It's like expressing your truth isn't only about being heard. It's about allowing your partner to understand you. It's about understanding yourself a little bit more. It's about having a deeper emotional connection with your partner because now you can convey what you're feeling and what you need. It's about building emotional trust in the relationship. Now that you can express yourself in a more constructive way and your partner is given the opportunity to understand you on a deeper level. Every time you choose that I feel statement over a blame statement, you're choosing progress over an opportunity for conflict. And that's going to be good for both of you. So that's a win. That's a double win for everybody involved. So tonight, go ahead and do the exercise and follow that I feel formula. Share it with your partner and see how it feels as you're going through it. And like I said, it's probably going to feel awkward at first, but the more you do it, the more natural it'll feel. So, share your experiences in the group. Like, let us know, like, what worked, what felt challenging, how did your partner, respond to these I feel statements. We're a community here, we're all about sharing. So, you know, I hope you feel inspired or empowered to share. So, as you go through this, like, just remember that it's not about being perfect, it's about making the progress because that's the only way you're going to get to the relationship that you actually want, the progress. So every conversation is an opportunity to build the relationship you want. And imagine how many conversations you have in your relationship about things you're struggling with, your concerns, your fears, and problems. Each one of those is an opportunity for you to get the relationship that you want. So, I just have one question for you guys. It's, if how many of you actually are looking to prioritize your relationship and just build better communication and connection with your partner, but you feel like you're like stuck in this cycle because you tried this, you tried that, and nothing seems to be working right now? It's like, go ahead and put it in the chat or and put it in the comments because I've been there with you guys. It's hard to try and get there on your own. It's like one of the main reasons is because there are blind spots. You have blind spots. You're in the dirt with your partner. You're in the struggle with your partner. So it's hard for you to have this broadened sense of perspective of what's going on. There are simply going to be things that you can't see. And, you know, one of those things might be how you avoid difficult conversations and dismiss your partner's feelings. Or it might be having trouble understanding how your communication style promotes blame instead of actual solutions. So, with these blind spots, it can be definitely hard to resolve any issues that actually come up or any issues that you're currently going through, making it harder to get the relationship that you want and be able to sustain that long term without falling back into old habits like blaming your partner for how you feel. And that actually happens to be what I specialize in. So my coaching typically is revolved around, managing and resolving conflict, effective communication with respect, and deepening emotional connection. But I'm talking long term, not just for the moment or for a couple of months. And fortunately, God made me really good at it. So what I do with my clients in my program, it's called Honeymoon Forever because everybody wants a honeymoon forever. I'm a firm believer that that honeymoon stage doesn't have to be a stage. It can last the entirety of your relationship. And for me, I made this program. It's the gold standard for solving conflict, deepening emotional intimacy, and overcoming communication struggles. So if you're wanting to prioritize your relationship and strengthen your relationship and just kind of get that spark back and trade emotional distance for like that closeness and that bond and just be able to build a partnership that thrives instead of one that is surviving like me and my significant other have, and that's something you want help with, just direct message me the word mentor. And so just to, go over a little bit, like my program is literally the fast track because you integrate years worth of knowledge, failure, trial and error in a fraction of the time that you've already spent trying to resolve your struggles on your own. So here's what, just to, a little tidbit of here's what would happen. So you DM me the word mentor and I reach out to you. We'll have a quick conversation and I'll talk to you about what's going on in your relationship as far as, conflict, communication. So we just get really clear about where you are with it. And then I'll give you an actionable plan to fix that, to fix what's relevant to you, to your partner, and what's relevant in your life right now. But if I can't help you if I feel like after the conversation I can't help you, I'll tell you that. And I will connect you with someone or something that I think is more helpful for you. But after talking to you, if I feel like I'm confident on how to fix what's going on in your relationship and how to get you to the goal that you're looking to solve, get you through that struggle that you're looking to solve forever, it might just be the best decision you ever make for you and your partner and your relationship. So just DM me the word mentor. And if you guys got value out of this training, let me know. Put value in the comments, put value in the chat. Let me know that you guys are getting something out of this because I'm here for you. Everything that I talk about, I've gone through at some point or another, and I figured out what works and why it didn't. And every relationship is different. And this is why I do these trainings, because I'm like, tell me what's going on for you so I can share with you what would work in your specific situation. All right, guys, I will see you soon. I will see you in the next training. God bless.